Hey, welcome into this episode of the GASOCast Season 4, Episode 14. Happy 2025 from the Gaso team. We are here, and we are in this thing. I want to talk about our sponsor, Clutch Shots. This episode is powered by Clutch Shots, the first ever smart highlight creator. Whether you're an athlete, proud parent, coach, or organization, Clutch Shots AI makes creating pro-quality highlights fast, easy, and unforgettable. With the AI, you can capture, reframe, and share the best moments in seconds, all optimized for social media. Say goodbye to hours of editing and hello to instant eye-catching highlights. Ready to evaluate or elevate your game? Download the Clutch Shots AI app and get your free 2-week trial. Thanks for sponsoring Clutch Shots. I use you at every event now. Lyndon, our content looks a little more professional, would you say?
Yep.
It's great. Moving in some housekeeping, the Gaso Fast Break is rolling on. We got some good stuff coming at you, and then we have rankings of the 25, 26, and our first drop of the 27 coming within the next month, so you're going to want to get on board. It's stream season, so our staff is going to be scouring film weekly, so the content will not slow, so make sure you're following us. Gaso Next Gen coming at you March 2nd. We have some fun information to announce next week. Along with you need to be there if you're 27, 28, 29. Michael does a great job branding this event, and he kind of brands it as like, come get to know Gaso. We don't start our rankings until you're a sophomore after tournament season. So this is a time to kind of get your name out there and for us to start familiarizing ourselves with your game. Also, the Gaso schedule has been out for a minute now. Make sure when you are asking, these club programs, where they're going, make sure you're coming to Gaso because you know what you're going to get when you come to Gaso, and that's for us advocating for you. And we are going to be sitting baseline. We will be there watching you play. So, as always, follow us, and let's hop into the show. First question, roundtable discussion. What's still on your mind from the tournament season? Michael, I'm going to pass it to you.
Yeah, so last year we got number 1 versus 2 in Plano East versus Stony Point at the Champions. This year we got 1 versus 2 with Brennan and Allen at the McDonald's Pasadena. And then last year we got that matchup again in the state championship game. I'm wondering, are we going to get Allen and Brennan in the state championship game in a similar way? But besides those two, we've had a lot of high-level matchups this year in some non-district games to where I'm glad we get to see them, but I haven't had any questions answered. To me, there's no real favorite. I feel like anybody can beat anybody. So usually at this point, I'm like, yeah, that team's going to be hard to beat. There's a few teams on my mind right now that are going to be hard to beat, and that makes for an excited district and playoff run.
Yeah, love it. Lyndon, thoughts?
Yeah, there's one team every year that just makes our rankings, our power rankings that I do in the newsletter, just makes us look dumb when it comes to the third, fourth round of the playoffs. This year, I'm trying to get out ahead of that and identify that team on who that could beat early. That way, we're not looking back and kicking ourselves for last year Rockwall makes it all the way to the regional finals and we didn't have them ranked. Trying to get out ahead of that, trying to identify those teams early. So like with that same thought process, this week on the Gaso Fast Break newsletter, dropping our first edition of the regional power rankings at 6A through 1A. We're going to list the top 5 teams in each region, along with what they're projected to do, with the Division I, Division II split. If they're 100% certain to go big school or small school, or they're somewhere in the middle, we'll have that identified for you in this week in the newsletter. I
didn't even know he was doing that, and I need that. That's great. That's freaking great.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm just waiting for Lyndon to do it. My point is that there's still very little clarity in 5A and DFW. Like, some of the regions are kind of shaping up where there are significant favorites, but in Dallas, it's just like get a dice and roll it. I think there are a group of teams who could come out, and I think we have them. I bet it wouldn't shock me if an unranked team kind of comes out and kind of alluding to what you were saying, Lyndon, like makes a run, peaks at the right time, which leads to my point. All you got to be doing is peaking in March in the DFW regions and playing really well at that time, because we've seen a lot of these teams have a really high ceiling, and we've also seen them have a low floor at times too. So it makes for fun media from a media standpoint, but I know coaches like a little more of the consistency and not the highs and the lows. But we'll see how it shakes out. I'm really interested to see that soon. A little more team talk here. Contenders, who's a squad that has proved to you that they're contender beyond a reasonable doubt. Michael, make your case.
Yeah, mine is going to be a little different than what Lyndon's going to say for his. But he'll get to hit them later, Lyndon. But for me, Cibolo Steel. They play a fun brand of basketball. They can shoot it from all over the lot, and they're deep, so foul trouble is not going to be a problem. They had a really good showing playing Allen. Like, if you play Allen the way you play Allen, at Allen, road game, even though it was at a tournament, then I know you can play with anybody. But Logan Gonzalez, Maurice Eddy, Josh Rice, Jaden Cherry are leading the way over there. And like I said, they just all want a part of that moment, and they've been in some high-level games already that made me feel good down there in Region 4. And once again, I have no idea who's big, who's small, but I like the way Cibolo Steel's playing right now. So give me them as a contender.
Very tough.
Lyndon,
Yeah,
who's yours, man? No surprise.
Low-hanging fruit here.
It is, but it's the question that I'm asking about the 4A class in general is that can anybody catch Dallas Kimball? Because when you look at their just their schedule and the teams they've beaten with wins over Duncanville, DeSoto, Beaumont United, like they've got skins on the wall that would make them a top 10 team in 6A. And they're the number one team in 4A, likely to go big school. And it's going to be very interesting to see if there's a team that can kind of emerge and really give them a push in Region 2, if not the entire state in the 4A Division 1 bracket.
Good call. I'm going to go Mansfield Lake Ridge. I think we started them 7 or 8 this season, but they have really catapulted themselves into that tier of teams that I think can play with anybody at any time. They're 22-2. Their 2 losses are to Lancaster by 1, and to Allen, I think, by 5 or 6, 8. And then they, are they going to have a little bit of a sloppy comeback to district? No, they handle business against Mansfield, and then they down North Crowley. So it's just a team led by Eze Wakama, who has a quick aside here. That dude has taken another step to his game, and he's going to be going up in the next 25 rankings. But Lake Ridge as a whole, very deep, a lot of players. Sophomore Roman Doolin's been great. Shakir Pack leading the way. They're a really good team, and I would not want to catch them playoff time. They already made it 5 rounds deep, I believe, last year, and lost to Plano East. So they have the playoff experience, and they got a lot going for them. So Mansfield Lake Ridge has really vaulted themselves into that tier of 6A where I think, hey, man, right night, they could beat anybody.
Absolutely.
Game breakers, game on the line. Who do you trust? I almost pulled a Lyndon and did like the Kimball equivalent here, but I didn't. So, Michael, who's your game changer?
Yeah, for me, Uzziah Button, Round Rock Stony Point. When you're looking at one guy, I'm going to go with a lead guard that I know isn't going to get hit in the mouth. Very rarely is Stony Point going to get down early in the game just because of the way Uzziah plays, from picking up 94 feet and to being in attack mode. And when you're talking about a closer, I want a guard who I know knows how to get to the rim, knows how to get to the free throw line. And one of Uzziah's skills is creating real contact without charging and getting to the free throw line. So I want a guard that I know has been there, done that. He's been to the state tournament. He's been to a state championship game. And he wants the ball in his hands, and he wants to guard 94 feet. All those intangibles there. I like my chances when he's on the court.
Lyndon?
Yeah, Noah Mallory from Wiley. Saw him at the first day of Allen, and he's a kid who you can just trust. And having trust in a kid at the end of games is huge for coaches, the high school level, college level, NBA level, whatever we're talking about here. But he's somebody, smooth finisher, he hits shots, and he's smart with the ball. He makes the right decisions. He knows when to pull out or when to try to attack. He's not going to force anything late in games that's going to jeopardize his chances of getting a win. He knows the most important stat in the game is winning, and he does that a lot. So that's a kid I trust to, be one of those type of guys who can, he's going to go get you a lead early, and then when it's late, he can go get you a win.
It's good. My original answer was Kingston Flemings, but it just felt like cheating. So I'm going to go with Cam Lomax. Still kind of feels like cheating. But my nickname for him is the showman. Like, the guy just knows how to entertain. He knows how to get to the foul line. I think of the Gladiator GIF where he just keeps kind of beating people, and he's like, "Are y'all not entertained here?" I watched him go against Isaiah in a unbelievable game. Landon Short was very good in that game too. Bryson Howard was very good in that game too. But Cam Lomax hit a shot late, hit a shot at the end of the third quarter. They just kind of hung around. It felt like Stony Point was going to run away with it several times, and Cam Lomax would get to the foul line, hit a tough shot. And I've just seen him do it so many times, the Stony Point game. TABC, he did it a bunch. Every time I watch him in a big environment, it just feels like Cam elevates his game just a tad. And he's just really fun to watch. I mean, I know what I'm getting with the guy late.
Absolutely.
The next segment, difference makers. This is an intangible guy, a player that you can just, that for a fact is going to help deliver the win. Mike?
Yeah, for me, Bryce Jackson of Shadow Creek. I've watched him play multiple times this year, and he seems to always find an advantage in each possession, whether that's beating and attacking a weak closeout, the second jump on an offensive board. And the biggest thing is when he steps onto the court within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game, the opposing team realizes they're in for something different. Just with that tenacity, that physicality. Even when he dunks the ball early on in the games, you'll see like when he dunks, he's going to dunk to let you know like this is something that you haven't seen before, you haven't prepared for it, and you're going to feel this throughout. And when you have somebody like Bryce Jackson, the rest of the Shadow Creek team, they're just one of my favorite teams in the state. But you see with Bryce going to University of Houston that his intangibles fit in with that recruiting class that they have coming in, and he's going to be able to play the brand of basketball Houston is very successful at.
Low maintenance guy too. Like he can produce like crazy without touching the ball every time.
Absolutely.
Love guys like that. Lyndon.
Ephraim Moore for Beaumont United. This guy, wow. I watched them against Barbers Hill last Friday night, and he's a freshman. He's about 6'8", and the amount of grown man finishes he's able to pull off in games is something that is very, very impressive. And especially if you've seen Barbers Hill, their front line goes 6'6", 6'7", 6'7". They are a big team, and he looked like a grown man going against them as a 2028, as a freshman. Offensive putbacks, dunks, you name it. He's just a physical specimen. He's 6'8", looks like he can still, has room to grow. And this is a very good sign because his aggression on the boards and going back up strong through contact bodes really well for his future as a prospect.
Yeah, love it. I'm going to go with Romeo Carter. I was at Louisville High School last weekend at their elite prep event, and it was a great event, and I got to see Legacy School and iSchool just go to battle. Legacy was winning most of the game until iSchool made a furious comeback. It was really led by Jalen Law, David Awizi, and Ramil Carter. But since Jalen and David, they've got their scholarships in the bag, I want to talk about Ramil here. He's just a winning play guy. He guards. He's super athletic. And he had a couple of incredible highlights, which I caught via clutch shots. I got a dunk, and when I get a dunk, like my heart flutters. It's like I'm not supposed to get this. But he was just – I don't want us to miss it. He swung the momentum. There were a lot of plays. iSchool runs this backdoor play where it's either a backdoor or he comes and rejects the screen, goes to a dribble handoff. And they got the backdoor a couple times, and his dunk, his head was darn near at the rim. This is a really good athlete, can play in a lot of systems, can knock down a shot, make plays. Lyndon, you caught your eyes on him 2 years ago at the Gasso playing for the Gold Boys, and this kid is just come on. And, he's not the name when you go see iSchool, but he will stand out because he makes such an impact. Love shouting guys out like that. Let's talk a little more team talk. Districts. Keep an eye on this district. This one's fun because there are some wild districts out there if you go searching for it. Michael, who's the district you chose?
Yeah, luckily we probably can do this going forward every single week. I mean, there's just so much parity in these districts. But for me, let's go 5-6A. I'm going to call them the District of Thorns. When you look at that district, we can be honest, we probably don't see a state favorite a state championship favorite in there. But all those programs know how to win. You're talking about Geyer, Braswell, Marcus, Coppell, Little Elm, Flower Mound, and Hebron. They're all looking to make noise in the playoffs, and they're going to whatever those four teams, they're going to be tough outs. And they're beating up on each other right now and getting better for it. But there's somebody on each of those teams. I'm like, ugh, that's going to be hard for you to game plan for them in the playoffs. So look out for 5-6A in Region 1.
That's a good call out, Lyndon.
Yeah, going down to the district that I've kind of just referenced with Beaumont United and Barbers Hill, and that's 19-5A, because there's just so many talented dudes in this district. I mean, those two teams obviously been around our top 10 all year, but then you throw in Beaumont Westbrook that's sitting at number 5 with Elijah Garrett, TJ Satcher. They've won a lot of tournaments this year. They've won a lot of games.
I think they've only lost once.
Yeah. And then, you have Port Arthur Memorial, one of those kind of, when they're up and they're rolling, you got Kendall Hillstock and Amir Young out there. They're going to make some noise. And then, the back half of this district, there's some real sleepers in there, both Baytowns, Netherland, PNG. These are no cakewalk games. This is going to be a very competitive district, and I'm excited to see, what really shakes out, because you got 3 ranked teams and a team in PA Memorial that's been knocking on the door all year long.
Love it, man. That's good. I'm gonna what?
I said facts. I agree.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go 19-6A. It's really fun. It's filled with all the Katies. High level players, high level coaching. It's just easier to kind of read you the district standings right now. Katie Jordan's balling right now. They're 6-0. You got Cinco at 5-1, Seven Lakes at 5-2, Tompkins 3-3, Katy at 3-3, Maid Creek at 3-3, Peyto at 3-4. So every game is a war. And I've been in a district like this when I was at Timber Creek, where we had like 7 teams that were kind of like 500-y, and everybody, it's like just a slugfest every night. And the district really turns on its head every single night because of the matchup. Sometimes you get the more advantageous matchup. You get the home team going against the team that's struggling in district, but sometimes you're away going against the best, and you can literally change the landscape if you upset them there. But like I said, a lot of talented players in that district. We have Christian Gibson sitting at 4 or 5 in our rankings, and they're sitting at 3-3 right now. And, you don't think he's going to have a say. Isaiah Santos, who's going to be highly rated in our 27 rankings, he's sitting at 5-2, and I know they won a district championship because that's what they do at Seven Lakes, right? Cinco, full of seniors, and just a really tough team. Same with Jordan. I just can't wait. I'm going to be following it. And it's one of those Wednesday, Saturday districts, Lyndon, which we love, because on the off nights, you're like, oh, we got a game here. Like, we got a real game here. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. I call that a must stream. But yeah, I like that idea, Michael. We can talk about a different district every single week, because it's about to get crazy.
And it's just going to tighten up. It's going to tighten up even more. Like next week, we're going to be like, look at like, there might be a team that's ranked that's not even in the playoffs if the playoffs started. Like I love district play.
It's wild. Lastly, last segment of the day, it's going to be called Recruit Him, and just advocate for a guy that you've seen recently who deserves some recruitment. Mike?
Yeah, for me, Marcus Johnson of San Antonio Wagner, the senior 6'2", showing leadership through consistency on a top 15 ranked team in 5A in the state. Smooth jumper. I love the frame. It allows him to play at all 3 levels. And he's just playing some of his best basketball right now. And that's all you can ask for out of a senior. San Antonio Wagner has state aspirations right now in another really good district down there in San Antonio. But to see a kid that I've covered, I mean, he's been on varsity since a freshman, to see him continue to like get better and better through consistency and be somebody that Wagner can rely on, especially going into tough district matchups, is great to see. So Marcus Johnson, 6'2", 2025 out of San Antonio Wagner is my recruit him of the week.
Great call out. Lyndon?
Yeah, I've got a handful that, just kind of seen lately. And, first off, Tayson Combs, Canyon Randall, MVP of the small school CBI, coming over here, going 4-0, playing some really good competition at the 4A level. but tough winner. He can score. He can defend. He's got the entire package. I think that's an easy recruit him. If you want a spark plug guy, the guy he beat in the championship game, Javen Colbert, like that guy is a walking bucket. And in Mike, we can talk about it a lot. He's the perfect guy to be in front of Mike's camera because he just plays a fun brand of basketball and he gets buckets and bunches. And then the Briggs twins at Crowley, go catch them against Lake Ridge in a top 10 matchup this week. Those two dudes can play. Get after them. They need to be on your radar if you're a college coach watching the show.
Man, I love that, Lyndon. I saw them play really well this over the break as well. I'm going to go with Henry Beckett, Dallas Highland Park. We currently have him ranked 84, and that is, I'm just going to say what it is. It's wrong. He is way better than that. This is a bad boy. He has the ability to score inside and out. I posted a dunk where his head's dang near at the rim, and the next one is him shooting a three from the logo. And it's like when you have that much athleticism and then you have the finesse to knock down shots. I didn't catch the Dirk, he made in the game, the Dirk shot follow away. I was just like, man, this guy's getting buckets. And then I asked Coach, I was like, hey, can you send me what he's done this year? It's 21-9 on 55% from the field. Like, are you kidding me? Scots have won 15 of 16, and he's a significant reason why. That's another team that I'm just like, can they beat anybody? Like, you know what I'm saying? They had a great showing against the Colony last week. But Henry Beckett, college coaches, Division I coaches, get on this kid. He's got a very, very bright future. That's going to do it for this GASOcast. Make sure you're following us because we're putting out this stuff. We're watching games. We had a fun meeting yesterday where we kind of talked about how we're just going to continue to get after it and keep the momentum going. So make sure you're up to date with us, and we will see you next time.